There's a powerful secret sitting quietly in your kitchen right now. One that could help lower your blood sugar, melt away stubborn belly fat, and protect your heart without a single pill. It's not a new drug. It's not a complicated diet. It's a simple leaf you've walked past 100 times. And it might just change everything. What if I told you that your body may already be trying to heal itself, not through medication or surgery, but through something quietly growing in your backyard or tucked away on your spice rack? What if the swelling in your belly, the creeping cholesterol, the relentless blood sugar swings weren't signs of age, but signals? Signals that your body is begging for something simpler, older, wiser, something that's been here long before modern medicine. You see, we live in a time where pills are prescribed faster than questions are asked. But what if the real solution isn't in a bottle, but in a leaf? That's right, a single leaf. One that could gently help restore your blood sugar, lower dangerous cholesterol, and melt away stubborn belly fat without turning your life upside down. Not magic, not marketing, nature. It sounds unbelievable. And that's exactly why you've likely never heard this from your doctor. But people all over the world, from Vietnam to Vermont, are quietly rediscovering the hidden power of natural leaves. They're sipping warm herbal teas instead of reaching for antacids. They're seasoning their food with intention. They're noticing their blood pressure ease, their energy rise, and their waistlines slowly shift. And perhaps most powerful of all, they're starting to feel in control again. Thanks for joining us here on Voice of Age, a warm space for real talk about life, health, and heart in our later years. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, how many changes have you made to your health in the last year that truly felt natural? That didn't leave you drained, confused, or dependent on something external? If you're like most people over 60, you've probably tried more than you care to admit. Diets that didn't work, prescriptions with side effects, routines that fizzled out. But what if this time you tried something that feels human? In this video, we're going to explore the gentle, often forgotten world of healing leaves. Not just what they are, but why they work. And why, if you're struggling with high blood sugar, elevated cholesterol, stubborn belly fat, fatigue, or inflammation, this could be the single most important thing you hear this week. Because behind the science, the lists, and the benefits lies one truth: your body still wants to heal. It just needs the right support and the right rhythm. And no, we're not asking you to give up your favorite meals or sign up for a radical cleanse. All we're asking is that you keep an open mind. Because these leaves are more than just garnish. They're information, instructions, signals to your body that it's safe to release what it's been holding, to calm down, to burn fat, to let go of old damage, and start over. So, if you've ever felt like your age is working against you, that your body is slowing down, or that belly fat is here to stay, I promise you, this message is for you. Don't go anywhere. And while you're here, take a second to subscribe to Voice of Age. It helps us keep creating thoughtful natural health content just like this for the community that needs it most. Now, let's begin. Let's step into the part of this journey where things begin to shift, where solutions stop sounding like wishful thinking and start becoming tangible, rooted, and real. Because the truth is, you don't need to overhaul your life to reclaim your health. You just need to begin with one leaf. Nature doesn't scream. It doesn't push or promise instant results, but it does offer steady, faithful support if we're willing to pay attention. And some of the most powerful allies in your healing journey are not new discoveries. They're old, ancient even, revered across cultures not just as flavor or tradition, but as medicine in its purest form. Let's talk about them, one by one. Quietly powerful leaves that support the very systems aging tends to wear down: your metabolism, your heart, your digestion, and your blood sugar. Take olive leaf, for example. It's not just the tree that gives us oil. The leaf contains a compound called oleuropein, shown in research to enhance insulin sensitivity and reduce the very sugar spikes that contribute to fat storage, especially around the belly. For many, olive leaf tea has become a morning ritual, a calm reset before the day begins. Then there's mulberry leaf, a humble yet potent supporter of balanced glucose. It helps your body manage carbs with more grace, easing that post-meal fog and reducing fat accumulation. It's gentle, effective, and has been trusted for centuries in traditional medicine. But healing isn't just about sugar. The heart, too, needs allies. Oregano, for instance, does more than season your soup. It calms inflammation that quietly damages blood vessels over time. Rosemary enhances circulation and helps your body burn fat by boosting the tiny engines inside your cells, your mitochondria. And let's not forget the leaves that soothe the gut and the nervous system, like peppermint, which eases bloating and sweet cravings. Or lemon balm, which helps lower cortisol, that stress hormone responsible for fat retention, especially around the middle. What makes these leaves remarkable isn't just what they do individually, but how they interact when you bring them into your life with care. They don't act like drugs, forcing a change. They support balance. They invite your body to remember how to function freely again. And if you're wondering, yes, the results are real. People across the country are quietly sipping their way to better mornings, adding dried leaves to simple meals, and noticing their bodies respond. Not overnight, but gradually, naturally, safely. In a world that profits off of confusion and fear, these leaves bring clarity and peace. They remind us that healing doesn't have to be extreme. It can be herbal, it can be homemade, it can begin in a teacup. So as we continue, keep this truth close. The simplest things, the ones you've overlooked, walked past, or discarded, may just be the very things your body has been asking for all along. Healing doesn't ask for grand gestures. It asks for presence, for patience, and for small, consistent acts that align with how the body is truly meant to work. That's why the beauty of these medicinal leaves lies not just in their power, but in how effortlessly they can be folded into everyday life. You don't need to abandon your habits. You simply need to invite something new into the rhythm you already have. For many people, that starts in the morning, not with a multivitamin, but with a warm, quiet cup of tea. A few olive leaves steeped in hot water can begin to tell your system, today, we move differently. We burn more cleanly. We release what we don't need. That first cup is not just a drink, it's a signal. But it doesn't end there. Healing is not isolated to a ritual. It can be part of your food, your movement, your rest. Consider the act of cooking lunch. What if adding parsley wasn't just for taste, but for flushing out excess sodium and easing the burden on your kidneys? What if sprinkling rosemary on your roasted vegetables also supported your circulation and metabolism? These aren't ideas meant for a lab or clinic. They're meant for your kitchen, your table, your garden. Some people blend dried mulberry leaf into smoothies. Others brew lemon balm tea at night to help their bodies rest, recover, and reset blood sugar levels before sleep. The key isn't to do everything at once, but to begin somewhere and then build gently. Consistency is where the magic lives. That doesn't mean perfection. It means choosing again and again to nourish your body in ways that feel intuitive. Perhaps that's drinking peppermint tea instead of soda, or adding basil to your tomato soup, not just for flavor, but for the subtle hormonal balance it can offer. You might try avocado leaf tea 3 times a week. Not as a chore, but as a quiet act of self-respect. One of the most empowering truths about these leaves is that they don't require you to believe in them for them to work. They don't need your full attention, just your willingness to make space for them. Your body knows what to do with real living compounds. It's been waiting for them. In the end, it's about remembering that health is not something we chase, it's something we cultivate. Through attention, through small, nourishing choices repeated with love. These leaves are not shortcuts, they're invitations to slow down, to listen to your body, to reconnect with nature's medicine cabinet, and to reclaim your sense of power, one cup, one meal, one moment at a time. Not every story of healing begins in a hospital. Some begin in the quiet corners of an old kitchen, with a kettle warming on the stove and a heart full of hope. Harold's story is one of those. At 68, Harold had come to terms with what he thought aging meant. He carried a soft weight around his belly that wouldn't budge, no matter how many walks he took around his neighborhood. His blood sugar numbers rose slowly but steadily, and his energy felt like a battery that couldn't hold a charge. The doctors told him it was normal for his age. But deep down, Harold didn't believe that normal meant losing control of his own body. Then, on a phone call with his daughter, a nurse practitioner in Oregon, she said something simple. "Dad, what if your body isn't broken? What if it's just tired of being ignored?" That sentence stuck with him. She sent him a small package in the mail, a few bags of mulberry leaf tea, a jar of dried oregano, and a handwritten note that read, "Start small. Start with this." Harold was skeptical. He'd seen ads for magic cures before, but this wasn't a promise, it was a practice. He began brewing a small cup of tea each morning, replacing his usual instant coffee. He sprinkled oregano onto his scrambled eggs, not expecting much. But within 2 weeks, he noticed something strange. His afternoon crashes became less intense. His belly didn't feel so tight after meals. He started waking up with just a bit more clarity. After a month, he went in for his regular checkup. His blood sugar had dropped, not dramatically, but noticeably. His cholesterol numbers had improved. His doctor raised an eyebrow and asked, "What have you changed?" Harold shrugged. "Just a few leaves." He didn't overhaul his life. He didn't go vegan or take up yoga or fast for days. What he did was far simpler. He returned to listening, to noticing, to giving his body the kind of support that doesn't shout but whispers, "I'm here to help." Stories like Harold's aren't rare, but they're rarely told. They unfold quietly, slowly, far from headlines or miracle claims. They're made of patience, attention, and a willingness to believe that nature still has something to teach us. If you've ever felt like you've tried everything, that your body no longer responds, let Harold's story remind you that healing can still happen, that your age is not the end of possibility, but the beginning of a deeper conversation between you and your body. All it takes is one leaf, one choice, one small act of care that says, "I'm not giving up." Because when you treat your health like a relationship, not a problem to fix, the results may surprise you. Slowly, gently, and beautifully. If you've made it this far, maybe it's because something inside you recognizes a deeper truth. That healing doesn't have to be hard, that health doesn't have to feel like punishment, and that growing older doesn't mean fading away. Maybe part of you has been waiting for someone to say, "There's still more available to you. You haven't missed your chance." So here's the invitation. Start with one. One leaf, one cup of tea, one quiet change that feels gentle, honest, and real. You don't need to turn your life upside down to begin. You only need to turn toward yourself with a little more care. What you'll find is that nature doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. And it rewards you not with dramatic overnight change, but with the steady return of balance. Some people will tell you that growing older is all about limitations, about managing decline. But what if it's actually about refinement? About finally hearing what your body has been saying beneath the noise? These leaves, these practices, they are not miracles. They're reminders. They remind us that small things matter, that consistent care builds something powerful over time, and that the most important medicine often doesn't come from a pharmacy. It comes from remembering who we are, beings meant to live in rhythm with the earth, not against it. So before you click away, ask yourself, what's one small thing you could do today that your body would thank you for tomorrow? Maybe it's trying mulberry leaf tea instead of your second cup of coffee. Maybe it's sprinkling parsley on your dinner with intention. Maybe it's just taking a moment to believe that change is still possible. If any of this has resonated with you, if it sparked a memory, a curiosity, or even a sense of quiet relief, don't let it end here. Leave a comment. Share what spoke to you. And if you've already tried one of these leaves, tell us how it made you feel. Your story could become the very thing someone else needs to begin theirs. And if you'd like to continue walking this path with us, learning, growing, remembering, please take a moment to subscribe. Not for the numbers, but for the community, for the wisdom that comes from stories like yours, from voices like ours, for the quiet power of knowing you're not on this journey alone. Health is not a finish line, it's a relationship, and the smallest acts of care, done with intention over time, are what keep it alive. You deserve that, you always have, and it's never too late to begin again. As we come to the end of this journey, one truth becomes undeniably clear. Healing does not always arrive with loud declarations or in the form of complex treatments. Sometimes it comes quietly, in the form of a leaf steeped in warm water, in a sprinkle of herbs on a simple meal, in the conscious decision to treat your body with kindness rather than frustration. What we've explored today is not just a list of medicinal plants, but a deeper philosophy. That health is not something you chase, but something you invite through gentle, intentional care. In a world that constantly pushes us to do more, fix more, and buy more, it's radical to return to simplicity, to trust in the small, to believe that what grows from the ground can help restore what's been lost. These natural leaves, from olive to mulberry, from peppermint to holy basil, remind us that our bodies are not machines to be forced into submission. They are living systems capable of balance, if only we learn how to support them. The real power lies not in discovering a miracle cure, but in cultivating a consistent rhythm, a lifestyle of care, curiosity, and presence. You don't need to become someone else to get healthy. You just need to return to the parts of you that have always known what true nourishment feels like. The lesson here is simple but profound. Healing starts small. It starts with noticing. Hendia with listening. With making choices from a place of respect rather than fear. And it starts today, not with a radical change, but with one leaf, one cup, one shift in how you care for yourself. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which leaf or idea from today's video are you most curious to try first? Let us know in the comments. Your thoughts might just inspire someone else who needs a place to begin. And if this message spoke to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's your support that allows us to keep sharing stories, tools, and wisdom to help you feel strong, clear, and connected, no matter your age.